Hey guys, welcome to Homemade Homestead. My name is Rachel if you're new around here, and today I have an interesting and fun video to bring to you. Today we got a Blue Apron box in the mail. This is not sponsored by any means. A friend actually gave us this box, so it was kind of fun that we got to try something for free. I know that there's usually coupon codes because meal boxes are kind of pricey. If you are going to get a subscription box like Blue Apron, or we've done HelloFresh before, I highly encourage you to seek out those different codes so it'll give you a little bit off those boxes. So this box was given to us. It was a 2-dinner box and each dinner served 4 people. This box was $74.08, which comes down to around $8.99 per person. They have some taxes and different things on there, but about $8.99 per person. So I was curious if I could make that for cheaper. I made a comment in our HelloFresh video that my husband and I did for a date night where I was like, oh, I can for sure make this for cheaper. And I wanted to make sure that that was true. So I thought I would recreate this box. I'm gonna open up the Blue Apron box. I'm gonna show you everything that came in that meal box from the company. Then we're gonna cook up dinner and try it, and we'll let you know our honest opinion of the 2 meals that they sent us. Then I'm gonna go out and buy all the ingredients and we're gonna make it again for ourselves. I'm gonna tell you if it tastes similar, if it doesn't, and we're also gonna tell you the price breakdown. If I were to buy absolutely everything that goes into these dinners, did it cost me less or did it cost me more than the company themselves? So first, let's open up this box. It's actually sealed really nicely. Everything is really cold. It's got like this almost like sheet looking thing. So I'm gonna lay out all the ingredients and I'll show you what we're gonna be making tonight. So for the first recipe, we're doing Beyond Beef with a sweet potato chili. And it gives you a recipe card, it lists all the ingredients off, and it shows you step by step. So the ingredients that we need are the Beyond Beef, which I can't find this locally, so I'll have to go online to find it. And then some flour tortillas, some green onions, 2 sweet potatoes, 1 can of black beans, 1 can of crushed tomatoes, 1 bulb of garlic, 1 red onion, and then it comes with this. The bag is labeled knickknacks, which I think is cute. It says which meal it's for, and inside it has a few things. So it's got a vegetable demi-glaze, there's the yogurt, the lime, and then this Mexican spice blend. So that's everything it came with for the chili. And then our second meal is this Korean style beef and gochujang mayo. It came with 1 pound, well actually a little bit over a pound, 18 ounces of grass-fed ground beef, this baby bok choy, 2 green onions, rice, let's see, this is just long grain white rice, 3 radishes, and another knickknack bag. And the rice vinegar leaked inside the bag, so there's that. I think there's still enough in there, but there's an Asian style sauteed aromatics is what it's called. There's a little bit of sugar, some rice vinegar, some soy sauce, some mayonnaise, some of the gochujang, and some toasted sesame oil. And that's everything in this one. All right, guys, we just finished eating from the box themselves, straight from Blue Apron. We cooked that up together, Jesse and I. Actually, let me get Jesse so he can share with you his opinion of the dinner as well. So I grabbed Jesse, and I wanna know, and they wanna know what your opinion is of this dinner. So we had the sweet potato chili with the Beyond Beef, Korean beef with gochujang mayo.
Right.
So what were your thoughts?
If it had to come to a choice between the two, I definitely would have chosen the gochujang mayo, whatever the heck. That was interesting.
Oh, the Korean beef one?
The Korean beef,
oh, okay.
Yeah, the Korean beef. The chili, it was kind of weird. There was something off, like, I don't know, it looked like what the meat that was in there looked like beef. But it didn't taste like turkey. I don't know what it tasted like.
I agree with that. I thought the beef, the Beyond Beef, had just an off flavor to it. And maybe it's because we're not vegan or vegetarian, and so we're not used to the main ingredient was like pea protein and some other stuff. So maybe we're not used to that flavor. I thought it just gave the chili a little off flavor. So I think when I go to make it, we're gonna actually use regular beef because I can't find Beyond Beef anyway. But I will put the price that I can find online on the price breakdown. So don't worry, I'm gonna stick with the price of the box. But I think for us just to taste it again, I wanna do something different. What about the Korean beef? Like I couldn't have the gochujang mayo because it has wheat in it.
Right.
So I just had it with the beef and the like the radish, pickled radish on top. I thought it was delicious.
It was actually really
loved it.
good. Yeah, I like what is it called? Where you make the brine with the radishes and the onion greens and that oil sort of. What was it?
I called it like a quick pickle because it has some vinegar in there too.
I thought that was a great idea. I was kind of worried about the sliced radishes, because they tend to be kind of spicy.
Yes.
It was not that way at all. It was very pleasant. It added a freshness to the dish that was nice.
What did you think of the gochujang mayo? Did you love it? Did you feel like...
It was good. We've had some other like sauces of like different ingredients kind of like that were much better, and honestly I think the dish could have easily done without it. I don't need it.
And see, our kids did not like the gochujang mayo
it was okay.
at all.
Didn't miss it.
Well, then let's go buy the ingredients and recreate it. So I love that on their instruction cards, they give you the exact amount and all the ingredients you need to make this meal. So they say you can get a pound of Beyond beef, or you could switch that out for some ground turkey, which is what I chose to do because I cannot find Beyond beef. So they list every single ingredient you need and also the amounts. And then also with this Mexican spice blend, down below they tell you what is in it. So chili powder, paprika, garlic powder, cumin, and oregano. And most people have those different things on hand. And also this vegetable demi-glaze, I cannot find that anywhere. So I kind of made a substitution that I hope would be about the similar flavor profile. So instead of getting that ground Beyond beef, we did this ground turkey. It was just fine, that's a great substitution if you can't find this ground Beyond beef, but it is a pro to these box meal kits because they let you try new ingredients that maybe you can't find locally. You need a can of black beans, a can of crushed tomatoes, these scallions, which was a huge bundle for the price, and we only needed a couple of those, 1 pound of sweet potatoes, 1 lime, and 2 cloves of garlic. In the box it came with a bulb of garlic, but the recipe only said 2 cloves, so that's all I got. 1 red onion, my container of some non-fat Greek yogurt. This is a vegetable demi-glaze that I made up. You can look online. It's basically vegetable stock with a couple different spices. And then here is my Mexican spice blend. It just has those bunch of different ingredients, and I mixed them together until it kind of smelled good to me. And then we have our tortillas that we're gonna make homemade crunchy tortilla strips. And this one was an 8-count bag, and they only came with 4 regular size tortillas, and these are huge tortillas. So here's all the ingredients that we need, and here's the price breakdown. So I even put in there the Beyond beef, which was $6.94, and I use ground turkey, which is so much cheaper. But I put these prices in here so you guys could see that I could make this box kit for $18.09, which is a significant difference from what the box kit cost. So I threw in $5 for the Mexican spices, but you probably have most of those spices on hand, so you could cut the cost there, and you might have most of these ingredients already on hand. So let's get cooking. So the first thing we're gonna do is do our mise en plat, I guess is what they call it as their fancy term. It's basically getting all your veggies prepped ahead of time. So we're going to peel our sweet potato, chop our 1 red onion, and I am so bad at doing this at home. Like when I go to cook, I am multitasking. So that's one thing I've learned from these meal box kits is, take your time in the beginning of it and get everything prepped. It makes the cooking go a lot more smooth. So they had you cut up a red onion, and then they have you cut the white part of your scallions and put that with the onion, which I think is kind of cool. And then you reserve that green onion for later to top your dish. Then we're just gonna roughly chop up our garlic cloves. You could use a mincer if you want to get that out and get that dirty, and I was not in the mood for that. So next I was gonna cut up my sweet potato, and my son, my 8-year-old, made a comment on the sweet potato in the first chili that he thought it was a little bit too big. So I cut ours a little bit smaller, even though the recipe calls it for a medium dice. I did it small dice. And there is the beautiful board, has everything ready, the beans rinsed and drained, everything chopped and ready to go. Now I'm just throwing it all into a large stock pot stock pot. They want a little bit of oil in the bottom, and you're just gonna cook your onions and garlic for a few minutes, then throw in your spice blend. And this adds some depth of flavor because you're actually cooking your spice blend a little bit. I never try this, and it's steaming up my camera. I've never tried that at home when I go make chili. And this is a big whoopsie that I did. I thawed out ground turkey for my meal with Jesse's ground beef from his meal, and I accidentally threw in the beef in my meal. But it's okay, it didn't change like the flavor profiles at all. But I just threw in my sweet potato, my can of crushed tomatoes, my can of black beans that were rinsed and drained, and then my vegetable demi-glaze homemade version. And then they wanted 3 cups of water. I just like to use a can so I can get any last little bits out. And then we're gonna cook it for 30 minutes covered until those sweet potatoes are tender. Next, we're going to move on to our tortilla chips. And these are so simple to make. I don't know why I don't make them more often for other dinners. It was so fun and something new that I learned. And I'm just cutting them up into strips. We're gonna pop them in a 450-degree oven for a few minutes until they're nice and golden brown. You can put some oil, salt, and pepper on them. And then also, here is my Greek yogurt with a little lime juice. I love that the recipes do this. It's just a simple adaptation to different things, and it just is so good. And look at how beautiful. I think it looks pretty similar to the recipe card. What do you guys think? All right, so we're gonna jump into our second meal of Korean style beef and gochujang mayo. My awesome husband Jesse is here with me, and he's the one who actually made up this meal.
Yeah, I was really I like this dish a lot. I loved how the layout of these things, again, that's just so simple, break down for you all the ingredients that you need. Make it very simple for someone like myself to just cook up. They give you all the breakdown of how to prepare all of those different ingredients. We weren't able to find the grass-fed beef, which is what they sent us in the packaging, but we were okay with that. This was some Napa cabbage instead of the bok choy, which was also an okay substitute. We liked it just as well.
Using these box kits, though, it does help you branch out and try new things that maybe we couldn't find ourselves.
Right, there's good flexibility. The rice, of course, we know that. Radishes, which we were fine. Some mayo.
That we didn't end up using, right? Because
right.
We didn't want to make that sauce.
Yeah, we didn't bother with the gochujang. Some soy sauce, which was, again, liquid aminos instead. Some monk fruit. And here were our aromatics, which turned out a little bit thicker, but it still had great flavor. We were okay with it.
Yeah, and it tells us in the nutritional facts, it was oil, garlic, ginger, and onion and salt. So it was easy to recreate. Some rice vinegar, and then also some sesame oil. We didn't end up buying the gochujang because none of us really liked it. My husband kind of liked it, and for almost $6, it just wasn't worth us to buy a tub of it to recreate this meal that we didn't want anyway. So this is a huge bundle of scallions, and we only need to use 2 of them. So we have a lot left over from this meal, but that's also something you just need to consider when you're buying these ingredients. And this is the price breakdown. So we use $2.50 for some beef. If you want to bump that up by a little bit to buy grass-fed ground beef, I've seen it for $5 to $6, like in a fancy grocery store. Also the bok choy, I've heard they sold at Walmart. We couldn't find it around us. And the Asian aromatics, they were a little bit different than what came in the packaging, but you could use like fresh onion and fresh garlic instead of powdered is what we used. So these are just a few different things. Also, I put the prices of full bottles of rice vinegar and full bottles of sesame oil. So that's also something to consider, because if you already have the soy sauce and the mayo on hand, you don't have to go out and purchase an entire bottle of it. So that is just something to think about, and let's get right into this cooking.
I'm just gonna get to work chopping up all these vegetables. Our Napa cabbage, just cut the end off. Cut it up into some thin strips, the whole thing, which actually ended up being quite a bit, but it does cook down and it shrinks up quite a bit. Got our radishes, which you cut in half and cut into thin strips. Make sure to get the bad ends cut off, the roots and anything else that looks undesirable that you don't really want to eat. Scallions, again, just as thin as you want them. Get those things pushed into a bowl. Now you just get the rice vinegar and the sesame oil poured in, and you're Just looking to get that all good and mixed around. Season it with the salt and pepper to your taste. We're looking for just to get that sesame oil and vinegar all over the vegetables. Get your burner ready. Get your aromatics poured in. It didn't pour, our aromatics, but that was all right. Once those are up to a good heat, we just put our turkey in. Stirred that around for a few minutes until you're sure everything's good and cooked through. Added our monk fruit and our liquid aminos. Let that all sort of cook together. Put our cabbage in. And this ended up to be quite a bit of cabbage. Yeah, this is after all of that cabbage reduced. It was actually a challenge to get that all fit in there. And that's what we were able to make it look like. Oh, the difference in color is because of that, the gochujang, which we did not end up putting on top.
What do you think of it, Bud?
Pretty good.
Similar to the first one, or
It's a little bit different.
is that because of the meat?
Yeah. I think so.
That tastes like chili.
Is it similar to the first one?
Yeah. The main difference is the meat.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't. The sweet potatoes are really good at it too, actually.
I like it better with actual meat than the other stuff. It just had a funky flavor to the other stuff. So. I think this was a win though. I would make it again. And I think we recreated it pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty similar to the other one?
So I like the radishes and the onions on top.
What do you think, Bud?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
There are some pieces of that cabbage stuff that are kind of big. But
Oh, okay. Like long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it tastes very similar, even though it's not that bok choy and it's the napa cabbage. I think it's very close. I would like to try to recreate it if we could find bok choy where we are, but this tastes really good. I love the radishes and stuff on top.
What did you think? I thought it was so interesting, the comparison between the two. The meal box kit was $74, but to make it myself, $43.14. But that is if I buy absolutely every ingredient that I need. For me, I already have a fully stocked pantry. So I have my rice vinegar, my soy sauce, all those different items at home, except for maybe bok choy and some scallions and the meat, because that obviously you'd use up in the dinner themselves. It would cost me only around $10 to make these meals, just because I have everything in my pantry, freezer, and fridge ready to go. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you have a well-stocked pantry, you don't have to go out and buy a 5-pound bag or a 2-pound bag of sugar if you need a tablespoon of sugar. So just keep all that in mind. Leave a comment down below. If you guys would like us to try more meal box kits and do price comparisons, let me know. I was really interested in trying Blue Apron. I don't see a lot of people talking about this company, so I was really curious about it. Thank you guys for joining me today in my kitchen. I hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are. We'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye now.